The idea of women being alone and finding out who they are is a really important topic that we should talk about more, especially when you think about how society often expects women to live their lives in a certain way. Living alone can be a really important and empowering choice for lots of women. It lets them figure out who they are and try out their interests without any pressure from other people. Unfortunately, this choice is often misunderstood. People tend to see single women as lonely or incomplete, which makes them think that you can only be fulfilled by having a relationship. But actually, being on your own can be a great way to grow as a person and become more emotionally independent. Lots of women who live alone find that it gives them time to think, recover, and grow. This journey of self discovery isn't just about being alone, it's about learning to enjoy your own company, understanding your personal desires, and developing a sense of self worth that isn't dependent on others. When women are on their own, they often think about their fears, worries, and what they really want from life. This helps them to understand themselves better. It's a really freeing process because it lets women break free from society's expectations and do their own thing. The idea of finding strength in solitude is a powerful one, and it's in these quiet moments that women can tap into their inner resilience and creativity. They can try out new hobbies, get some education, or just enjoy the peace of being on their own. This kind of empowerment is great for emotional independence, and it helps women to build fulfilling lives on their own terms. As we go through this, it's important to remember that solitude and loneliness aren't the same thing. Instead, it can be a place where you can get to know yourself better and grow as a person. By changing the story to focus on women living alone, we can celebrate the strength and courage it takes to do this. This isn't just about feeling lonely, it's about how finding out who you are can totally change your life and how important it is to be yourself. As we look into these ideas, let's encourage women to see their alone time as a chance to grow stronger, think things through, and come out the other side with a life that's more fulfilling and genuine. Society often wrongly labels women who choose to live alone as lonely or unfulfilled, making it seem like their lives have no meaning without a partner. This misunderstanding doesn't take into account the diverse experiences that single women can have. Lots of women who live alone are not only happy, but also do really well being independent. They often enjoy their own company, pursuing interests and passions that may have been put on the back burner in the context of a relationship. The idea that being on your own is the same as being lonely is a pretty limited way of looking at things. It doesn't take into account the strength and self knowledge that you can get from living by yourself. For a lot of women, being alone isn't a sign of weakness, it's a choice they make to look after themselves. It gives them a chance to have a safe space to think, relax, and grow without all the distractions and compromises that often come with relationships. This choice can be really empowering, as it lets women focus on their mental and emotional well being. So, solitude becomes a place where you can find yourself and grow instead of feeling stuck. It's also important to challenge the idea that women need relationships to feel complete, because that's a really important step in changing societal views. The idea that you can only find fulfillment through partnership takes away the value of what you achieve on your own. Women can find themselves complete on their own and develop a sense of identity that isn't based on their relationship status. This way of thinking encourages women to be independent and to know that their value is inside them, not based on who they're connected to. Living alone can make you feel really empowered. It lets you explore your desires, set your own goals, and become more emotionally resilient. It's really important to celebrate the different paths women take in their lives, and to remember that being alone can sometimes be a good thing. If we change the conversation around single women, we can break down harmful stereotypes and get a better understanding of what they go through. Women who live alone aren't just getting by, they're actually thriving, building fulfilling lives that reflect their values and goals. By challenging these misconceptions, we're paving the way for a more inclusive narrative that celebrates the strength found in solitude and the richness of individual journeys. At the end of the day, it's important to remember that women can be complete and fulfilled on their own, and that being alone can actually be a good thing, not a bad thing. When women are on their own, they often find that it helps them grow emotionally. When you're not distracted by other relationships, you can focus more on yourself, learn to handle your emotions better, and become more resilient. This emotional growth is really important as it gives women the tools to deal with life's challenges in a confident and graceful way. Being on your own can make you more self aware, and that's important for helping women to be kind and understanding to themselves, which is key for their overall well being. The lessons learned during this time of self reflection can lead to healthier relationships in the future as women become more in tune with their needs and boundaries. Plus, choosing to be alone instead of doing what society expects can be a really powerful move. In a world that often pressures women to fit into traditional roles or look for validation through relationships, choosing a solo path can be a bold statement of self acceptance. This choice lets women focus on their own goals and dreams, free from the limits of society's expectations. When they embrace solitude, they're basically saying that they're in charge of their own happiness and fulfillment, and they don't need anyone else's validation to make that happen. This journey of self discovery isn't just about finding yourself, it's about reclaiming your story and embracing the freedom that comes with it. The idea of being picky about your relationships is a pretty strong one, and more women are starting to get it. They're putting their own emotional well being first instead of what society expects. In a world that often makes romantic partnerships seem like the pinnacle of success, women who take their relationships slow are basically saying, hey, I'm worth more than that. They're being picky, saying that their emotional health is the most important thing to them and they won't settle for relationships that don't fit with their values or make their lives better. It's also important to understand that true love shouldn't make you feel less confident or self assured. Lots of women have had relationships that, while they might have started out feeling great, in the end have made them feel like they don't know who they are or like they don't have any self esteem. Being picky means knowing that a partner should go well with your life, not define it. True love should make people feel good and help them grow, while also allowing them to be themselves and share their lives with someone else. Women who put themselves first in relationships are more likely to attract partners who respect and celebrate their uniqueness, creating a dynamic of mutual support and growth. It's also important to recognize the value of emotional reciprocity in relationships. Women who know what they want know that a healthy partnership is built on mutual respect, understanding, and emotional support. They look for relationships where both partners help each other feel good, creating a balanced dynamic that helps both people. This focus on giving and taking not only improves the quality of the relationship, but also highlights the importance of emotional intelligence and communication. If you're picky, you can steer clear of relationships that leave you feeling drained or unappreciated. Instead, go for connections that make you feel good and get your creative juices flowing. Women who like to be on their own often have to deal with people judging them, which can be pretty uncomfortable and disheartening. In a culture that often praises traditional relationship standards, deciding to live alone or to focus on personal growth instead of romantic relationships can lead to disapproval and confusion. A lot of people see single women in a pretty negative way, thinking they're lonely, unfulfilled, or just selfish for not following the ideal path of getting married and having kids. This discomfort comes from a shared unease with women rejecting the traditional paths that have long been set out for them, challenging the status quo, and making others question their own choices. When you're facing external criticism, it's super important to learn to love yourself. If you're someone who likes to be on your own, you need to believe in yourself and trust your instincts. This journey of self acceptance is all about realizing that your worth isn't defined by your relationship status, but by your own individuality and the choices you make for yourself. You've got to be resilient to deal with all the societal pressures and understand that living authentically is way more fulfilling than conforming to outdated norms. If women can embrace their solitude, they can discover their passions, develop their identities, and ultimately lead richer, more meaningful lives. The path to emotional independence is a life-changing journey that a lot of women take on, often starting with the important job of healing from past relationships and emotional wounds. These experiences can have a really negative impact on how people see themselves and their value. It's really important for women to deal with these issues so they can move on from past relationships and not become dependent on others. Healing isn't just about dealing with the pain, it's also about learning from what you go through. If we can face up to and deal with these emotional challenges, we can take back our power and make way for healthier, more fulfilling relationships in the future. At the heart of this journey is the importance of self love and self respect. It's really important for women to have a strong sense of self worth if you want to be emotionally independent, because that gives you the power to prioritize your own needs and desires. Self love isn't just a buzzword, it's a big commitment to treating yourself with kindness and compassion. This practice is all about recognizing your worth and embracing your flaws, helping women to develop a positive self image that doesn't rely on outside validation. When women learn to respect themselves, they set healthy boundaries in relationships, making sure they're treated with the dignity they deserve. This newfound self respect helps women to be more emotionally resilient so they can deal with life's challenges confidently and gracefully. Also, it's important to know that the path to emotional independence isn't straightforward. It's a roller coaster with good times and bad times, moments of clarity, and times when you're not so sure. If we can embrace this complexity, it can help women to be gentle with themselves as they navigate their paths. If women share their stories and support each other, they can create a community where healing and empowerment happen. At the end of the day, the whole emotional independence thing is all about taking back your story, loving yourself, and realizing that you've got a ton of strength inside you. When women think about their choices and experiences, they can learn more about themselves, which can make life more fulfilling and authentic. The new archetype of woman is a big move towards emotional freedom and self awareness. It's an invite to women to be themselves and say no to what society expects. By recognizing and supporting this evolving identity, we're all helping to create a more inclusive and empowering narrative that honors the strength and resilience of women everywhere. As we finish up, it's important to go over the main points we've talked about. We've seen how being alone can be a great way to find yourself and feel stronger. On our journey, we've been talking about how being alone can help women deal with their emotions, get over past problems, and understand themselves better. This process helps women to be emotionally independent and to look after their own well being instead of doing what society expects. If you go it alone, you can get away from all the usual rules and start a journey that shows off what makes you special and strong. We've also talked about how important it is to love and respect yourself on this journey. It's really important to recognize your own worth and embrace your unique qualities if you want to grow as a person. When women learn to appreciate themselves, they move from seeking validation to embracing their true selves. This evolution isn't just about personal fulfillment, it's about redefining what it means to be a woman in today's society. The new archetype of woman is all about being emotionally free and self aware, which is great for creating a more inclusive story that celebrates different experiences. And finally, we'd love to hear from you. If you found this discussion useful, please consider subscribing to our channel, liking this video, and sharing it with others who may benefit from this message of self love and empowerment. We can all work together to create a culture that's all about being real, encouraging everyone to be their best self, and celebrating how strong we are when we're on our own. Thanks for joining us on this journey, and we're looking forward to having a chat with you sometime soon.